So the shelves behind me look a little bit bare right now, and that is because it is time to haul some books. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris, and today's video is a book haul. So we did one not that long ago talking about many of the purchases that I've made since moving into this house, and this is the second half of that. So we've now officially, as of the 1st of July, it is the 15th at the time of filming, have entered a low buy year. So there's going to be a lot less book hauling on this channel. In fact, I haven't really decided if I'm going to be doing them just as part of the wrap-ups in case I buy anything, because I don't expect there to be that much over the next 12 months, or whether I just save it and do it in like 6-month batches. I don't know. We'll see how we go. It depends on how much is being bought. That being said, I went a little bit crazy, just a little bit before the low buy year started, just collecting some series, collecting the rest of series, so books like 2s and 3s and things like that. So I thought I would do the haul now, which is basically saying that I'm stopping spending ridiculous amounts of money on book hauls. So the first set I've got, which I'm going to show you and then put it back on the shelves, is all of the broken binding slash hardcover editions that I have, and you can see there's like a giant gap here, which is because I didn't show this off in the last book haul that I did. So the first thing that I have is a set, and that is the War Eternal series by Rob J. Hayes. We're just jumping into it apparently. If you want to check out Discords and whatever, go and check down below, but there's a lot of books to get through, so let's just jump on in. So the War Eternal series, this was a treat to myself at the end of last year for like a successful move over. I had a broken binding voucher for Christmas, and I've always wanted these books in these particular hardcovers, so I went ahead and got them. This is book number 1, Along the Razor's Edge. I think this may be up there with my favorite series. I am currently making my favorite series list so I can commit and do a video this year on my top 10 series. This is book 2, The Lessons Never Learnt. We have book 3, From Cold Ashes Risen. And I think Ascara Halcyon may be my top protagonist ever. This is my favorite of the covers. This is book 4, Sins of the Mother. And a fantastic continuation of the series. If you've stopped at book 3 because that was the trilogy as it initially came out, you're doing yourself a disservice, because books 4 and book 5 are excellent. This is Death's Beating Heart, book number 5. All of those are just beautiful, and I'm so happy to have them. I don't know if I'm ever going to read those particular editions. I tend to read a lot more on my Kindle, and I might go back and experience those books again, but definitely a series that I want to reread. All right, some of the other hardcovers that I have here, it's slightly spoilery because they're in the camera there. I went ahead and got the Parable of the Sower and also the Parable of the Talents. This is by Octavia E. Butler. I probably will read these sometime next year, because I really would like to read this duology. They are from the Broken Binding, and they are just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. I couldn't pass them up. I saw them right around the time I was deciding about a low buy year, and I was like, maybe just one more though. Maybe I'll just get one more thing. I then have Peridot Street Station by China Mayville. I think that's how you pronounce it. Again, a gorgeous edition. This is an author I've been wanting to read for a very long time. I think I tried this book, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago when I was too young for the concepts and the weirdness, and then I saw this edition. I said, maybe it's time to jump back into it. So this is the book 1, and I have ordered book 2, The Scar, before the low buy year started. So we had that. Similarly, I have book 2 of the Bone Season, whatever the series is called. I think it may be the Bone Season, so I've got the Mime order. This is something I will allow myself to buy when the 3rd book comes out. In these, I think it's the Bloomsbury editions. They're doing these covers, but Broken Binding have got these beautiful sprayed edges. It's just something else. They're just so beautiful. And an author I've not read yet, but I keep buying her books, so at some point I will have to read them. Now, I think these 2 also came from the Broken Binding, and an author that I just really, really respect. And I knew that when he announced that these books were going to be, I think there was 100 copies of them that were signed and numbers for the Broken Binding, I knew I needed to have them. And these are James Lloyd Doolan, the Malatu series. This is book 1, No Heart for a Thief, and book 2, No Safe Haven. These are fantastic, and they deal with colonialism in such a respectful way, but also a very thought-provoking way. And I just really, really respect James Lloyd Doolan. So that's fantastic, and I had to have them. I also finally have In the Advent of Winter. So I backed this. I didn't realize this was going to Brisbane at the time, and it happened to turn up the day before my friend was coming to Perth for Supernova. What's funny about that is he is moving, so I'm very glad it arrived before he moved, because that would have been not great for me. And the last hardcover I have is one that he picked up for me at Sydney Supernova by none other than Louise Holland. We've got Spark of the Divine. This one is like a pride and joy because look, I'm at the top, along with many, many other fantastic reviewers here on the back. So had to pick this one up. I've been looking for the hardcover. I messaged Louise when I saw she was at Sydney Supernova, being like, hey, can I get a VIP? Can I put one of those aside? And she was gracious enough to do that for me. So I'm going to pause now. I mean, you won't feel it because I just cut the pause out. Anyway, I'm going to go put these books back. I'll see you in a cross dissolve, I guess. Not me realizing I actually have a couple more hardcovers in this pile. I've got 4 separate piles. Next to me for this book haul. This next one is going to upset some people, not because of the books. The books are fantastic. Well, I think they're fantastic. I hope so because I bought them. But because they're different sizes, so just a fair warning if you are looking at this next bit, I have 2 books in the same series that are different sizes, and I know that upsets some people, but we're going to go with it anyway. So, I have the first 5 Wars of Light and Shadow books over there, and I went ahead and I picked up books 6 and 7. I think this finishes off the second arc. So we've got Peril's Gate, which is the Alliance of Light book 3, and also Trader's Knot, which is the Alliance of Light book 4. So I believe that finishes off the second, if not third arc of this series of books, which if I start this series next year is probably where I will get to before the low by year goes away and I get to start buying books again. Just one quickly is what I'm reading right now, which is why I missed it. It's another Kickstarter that I backed. This is Elegy of the Fragmented Vineyard by Caden Love. I don't have the dust jacket on because I am reading it right now. I know I'm slowly getting over my fear of reading the Kickstarters and the broken binding editions that I buy, so I am currently reading that. Then we have some other series continuations. So I said in my last book haul I probably would pick this one up, and I did. This is The God Breaker by Mike Brooks. This is the 3rd book in this series, which I would like to read this year, if not next year. So I picked that one up. I also picked up a series continuation that I do want to read the whole trilogy this year, which is the Liar's Knot and Labyrinth's Heart, I should say, which is, I think this is the Rook and Rose series. Yeah, it is, by M.A. Carrick. So I'll be reading those. One of these is super floppy, and one of these is not. And that irks me. But that's fine. We have the books here. Also, another series that I would like to start. I know the author is currently working on book 4 at the moment. I don't think book 3 has been released, but someone I just really, really respect is Justin Lee Anderson. So I went ahead and I bought book 1, The Lost War, and also book 2, The Bitter Crown, to read these. Maybe when book 3 comes out, that may be something that I budget for when I through the load by year, picking up book 3 and then hopefully book 4, but we'll see what happens there. I currently don't have plans to read it. Also, sorry about the breathy that's happening. I just had the heart monitor on and have just taken that off, so it's been interesting to talk this much again, and I am breathy, but I apologize. Another hardcover that I have is a buddy read I'm doing for a podcast with my friend Ryan. This is the Southern Reach trilogy, which now has a 4th book announced. So is it a trilogy? We're reading it as a trilogy, and potentially we'll finish it up with the 4th book later in the year. But this is a beautiful omnibus edition. Each book is quite short. I didn't realize how short they were, at about 150 to 160 pages each. Have another series continuation with Peter F. Hamilton and Judas Unchained. This is the 2nd book of a duology that starts with Pandora's Star, but you think I can remember what the duology is called? Not a chance. Not a chance. This next one was kindly sent to me by the author, and I'm very, very grateful. One of my favorite people on the planet, and that is Palmer Pickering. So I have a copy of Darktown. I actually have 2 copies of Darktown, so stay tuned for a future giveaway. This one is signed, and you cannot have it, but potentially I'll be giving away the unsigned copy that I currently have. Alright, the next pile. So my read of the year, potentially. I had to get a physical copy. That is The Council of Athesia by D.H. Hoskins. It's just beautiful. I've talked about this book, I feel like, at length at this point. Also, someone I admire very much is Morgan Shank. Now, I had to go and buy Die Young. I beta read this one. I'm hearing really good things about the work that's been put into it, and I'm very much looking forward to reading this in its final glory. And also, this cover, just something else. An author that I hold very close to my heart, but I didn't have the second book in either series, I went ahead and bought. That is Helen Reek Pedersen with The Bastard Heirs and also Apple Seeds in the Snow. The cover artists on the Zemkoska series, even though I don't gravitate towards romantasy, are so beautiful. And the third cover, I hear, is just going to knock people's socks off. So we're looking forward to that. And also The Bastard Heirs. I love Revere Rising. I can't wait to carry on with that series. And fun fact, you can read either the book 1 or book 2 first, because they happen in the same timeline. You can also do a tandem read over on Helen's website. You can see how that works. I also picked up a book that I already have, but this one was signed and hardcover, and I've ordered the hardcover of his debut novel, which is Joshua Walker's The Rest of the Gods. I really like this novella. I thought it was fantastic. Such a bold statement of a debut, and it does say that I'm the best in there, which I think is correct and not at all subjective. So went ahead and got that one. Thank you for the kind words there, Josh. I have Luke Schultz's Soul Cage. I could not get a copy of this book. The camera and the light is not going to do this justice. It is badass. It is such a cool cover and such a bold story, such a good story. So I've got a couple of other things here. I've got so many other things here. Who am I kidding? I went ahead and picked up the 6th book of the saga of the Noble Dead. This is Child of a Dead God, which concludes the first arc of this series. It's a 14-book series. The first arc with Marjorie, and I can't remember the half-elf's name in this series, is 6 books. So I've read the first 2. I've read the first one many times. I've read the second one twice, and now I have the other 4 of that arc. So I'll be reading that hopefully this year. Not all of them, but I want to start and continue on and finish the saga of the Noble Dead. This one may shock people, but I found the trilogy, or the first trilogy in this series, on eBay for like $40, and I'm genuinely curious to it, and that is Kashiel's Dart, Kashiel's Chosen, and Kashiel's Avatar. I'm not sure what the first trilogy, I think it's Phaedra's trilogy, but I found these. Sorry, I know it's going to offend people, just don't look at the broken spine. I'm personally okay with it. So I would like to read that at some point as well. Another Aussie author that was at the Sydney Supernova is Jonathan Weiss, and I have the Rising Flux and also the first book in the series, Molten Flux, with some other goodies in there. And again, it is signed. I noticed that you didn't say that I was the best, Jonathan, but I'm sure that we can rectify that at some point in the future when you realize that I am the best, like your friend Joshua. But yeah, I've got these. These are fantastic covers, beautiful and orange and bright, and I'm looking forward to jumping into this series. The map for this series is insane. So well thought out and just amazing. For my Brando Sando fans out there, I have Elantris, which I think is going to be my favorite Brandon Sanderson book, because most people don't like it that I've talked to, which normally is the way the cookie crumbles for me personally. So I went ahead and got that one, as well as just part of moving along with the Cosmere. A book that had a premise that I'm very much interested in for another secret project that I'm working on and wanted to do some research is Strange Practice by Vivian Shaw. This is a doctor for the undead. That is all I'm going to say about my secret project that I'm currently working on, is that this is going to be some inspiration for it, and I'm very much looking forward to reading this series. Now, another author I have gone on and on about is Eric LaRocca. I bought another little, I think it's a novella, it's one story, it's a novella, Everything the Darkness Eats by Eric, and I'm very much looking forward to reading that, as is the case with all of these. A good buddy of mine, Jeff, really loves this author, and I've been meaning to pick something up from them, so I finally have. So I picked up Our Share of Night by Martina Enriquez. I don't know very much about this author. I think it's speculative horror, but Jeff loves them, so I would like to read some of the books that Jeff loves. We are coming to the end with this last little pile, and then we are done for a while here on the channel. So the next one I have is the conclusion to the Indian on the Lake trilogy. I think that's what it's called, by Stephen Graham Jones. This is The Angel of Indian Lake. So I've read the first book. Now that I know the trigger warnings, I will go ahead and finish the series. Stephen Graham Jones is quite a unique voice in the horror genre, especially like the slasher horror. So I'm looking forward to continuing on with the series and finishing it eventually. I also have some non-fiction here with The Wager. This is by David Grand. This is a story of a mutiny on a ship. Cool cover. I really enjoy non-fiction, which reads like fiction, and I am very, very curious and terrified of the ocean. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. One of my favorite books of all time, I went ahead and bought the cloth-bound edition because I just love these editions so much. I think they're Penguin classics. Yeah, they are. And this is the picture of Dorian Gray. So went ahead and picked that one up. I saw it on Ryan's shelf and I was like, I really need that edition on my shelf. So I went ahead and did that. Someone who I've come to really admire their content is someone called Sim Kern, and their book, the first edition of their book, ended up being like $6 when I went and had a look at it. So I picked that up. This is The Free People's Village, and it's just stunning. This is sci-fi, non-binary author as well. Just, I don't know. I'm very curious, but I have not read it yet. I picked up If You Like It Darker by Stephen King. This is probably my last buy before I stop spending money on books. Recently come out, collection of short stories. I haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. This is one I think I missed on the last book haul, which is Empire of the Damned by J. Kristoff. I bought it on release day, but I don't know if I did it in the last haul, and I apologize if I did and I forgot to talk about it. This is a giveaway that I won by S.A. Tholen, who's probably one of my favorite self-published sci-fi authors. This is A Killer in Kirkclare, and it is signed. I won the giveaway over on Twitter, and it's so cool. It's not for resale. Like, I know some people hate it, but I think it's so cool that I've got like the author copy. That's really fun for me and my brain. So very, very happy with that one. This next series is, I believe it's fantasy romance, and I read this one, The Charmed Sphere, when I was in high school. I didn't realize it was a series. I think there's about 6 books in it. And I went ahead, and it's still got the Angus and Robinson tag on it. These don't exist anymore. I think they moved into Booktopia, who was like their online presence, and now Booktopia doesn't exist anymore. So kind of wild. I read this back in a different era, in a different time of life. And this magic system, it's not for everyone. It's based on geometry, from what I remember. It's based on shapes and the colors of shapes and how shapes move together. I remember being so enamored with it and thinking it was really beautiful. So I went ahead and picked up the first 3, which I went and found on eBay. So that's the first one, The Charmed Sphere. And then I've got the Misted Lifts. Beautiful covers. All of them are beautiful covers. And the Dawn Star, which is book 3. A nice orange cover there. I will read the first 3. And then if I still like it as much as I remember liking it, I'll go ahead and get the rest of the series at some point. Another one that I've picked up to finish the books that I already have, because I do want to read the series next year, is the Crossroads series. So this is book 3 by Kate Elliott. This is Trader's Gate. So I picked that one up so I can go ahead and finish it. And I also bought A Day of Fortnight by Samantha Shannon, because it's signed by the author. This sticker's already beat up. I need to go ahead and take that off. But yes, Mark, when you watch this video, it is signed by the author, which is very influential as to why I bought it. But I do need to read some Samantha Shannon sometime soon. The last thing I bought was because the last thing I'll show off here is because I put a poll over on my Instagram, and I did like a YouTube short asking what series I should buy, because I have a whole bunch of book 1s, which is a video coming out at a later date, going through all the book 1s that I have. I'm sorry, I've got to stop playing with the bookshelf off camera, where I'm just like, oh, bye. Anyway, and this series won. So I have book 1 of this one, which is this book 1. Have I accidentally picked up book 1 and book 2? We'll see. No, I picked up book 2 and book 3. So I put a whole bunch of series on it, and the series, that one, is The Empires of Dust by Anna Smith Spark. So I have book 2, The Tower of Living and Dying, which is a cool title, and also book 3, The House of Sacrifice. So I'll be reading this. This one won. It's a definite for 2025. Did I say 2023 earlier? It's been a long day. Anyway, those are the books that I bought. That is probably the last haul, if not the second to last haul for 2024. We will see how I go over the next 6 months. But yeah, there's a lot of books. Is there anything in here that I have to prioritize? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like the content, give it one of those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao.